So guys, import sets like whenever we load the data into ServiceNow, whenever we load data into ServiceNow, import set will be created. Remember, for every data load, there will be an import set created, guys. For every data load, there will be an import set created. Okay. So I have shown you one diagram in our previous session. Okay. So consider this is an Excel sheet that is given by the client. Okay. Consider this is an Excel sheet that is given by the client. So client will give you this Excel sheet. Client will give you this Excel sheet and he will ask you to load the data into ServiceNow. Okay. He will ask you to load the data into ServiceNow. When client has given you the sheet, so you'll have to upload the data into ServiceNow. When you upload the data into ServiceNow, first it will be stored into the temporary table. So first you will store the data into the temporary table and you will create a transform map between temporary table and target table. And finally, the record will be created into the target table. So in the transform map, so you will make one field as queries field. So here in our previous example, we made number as queries field. Okay. So we made number as queries field. Okay. We made number as queries field. Okay. So what queries does? Queries will actually identify if the queries number is actually there in ServiceNow or not. If the number is there in ServiceNow, it will actually update the record. If the number is not there in ServiceNow, it will create a record. So finally, queries will avoid the duplicate records. Okay. First of all, um, let me do one thing. So I am going to load the data now. Load data. So whenever we loaded the data, first it will create an import set. It will load the data into the temporary table. So you will run the transform map between temporary table and target table. Okay, you will run the transform map between temporary table and target table. You can see in the transform history. So total 3 records are created. So these 3 records are created because in the transform map, in the transform map, so in the transform map, we checked create new record on empty queries fields. If the queries fields are empty, it should create a new record. So as we have checked these checkboxes, okay, what it has done is that it has created 3 new records. So it has created 3 new records. Okay, you can see insert 3. So in this data load, if you can see here, three records are inserted. These three problems are inserted. Remaining problems are ignored because no value changed. So we did not change any value, right? So that is why it has ignored. Okay. So if you go to the transform map here, if you go to the transform map here, so this is the transform map that we created between temporary table and target table. And this is the field mapping that we have done. And we made number as coil is true here. We made number as coil is true here. As we made number as coil is true here, what is happening here is that whatever the number that is there in the Excel sheet, if that number is already there in ServiceNow, it will update the record. Whatever the number that is coming from Excel sheet, if that number is not there in ServiceNow database, it will create a new record. So Coalesce will actually will identify whatever the value that is coming from source is already there in ServiceNow or not. If it is already there in ServiceNow, it will update the record. If it is not already there, okay. If it is already there, it will update the record. If it is not already there, it will create the record. So that is how Coalesce will identify the duplicate records, guys. Okay. We can apply multiple fields as Coalesce. If you apply multiple fields as Coalesce, all the field values should match to update the record. If any one field value is matching, other field values are not matching, means it will create the record. So can we apply multiple fields as Coalesce, guys, here? Can we apply multiple fields as Coalesce here? Okay. So if you apply multiple fields as Coalesce, all the field values should match to update the record in the database. If only one Coalesce value is matching, other Coalesce value is not matching, means it will create the records. So let me just open problem table. Just opening the problem list. We'll see is there any duplicate record found or not. You can see every record has only one number. So every record has one number. There is no duplicate record found. Though, so we did not find any duplicate record because in the transform map we made number as coil is true. Okay, is that clear, guys? So in the problem table, let me just open one problem record, guys. In the problem table, in the state field, in the problem in the problem table, in the state field, how many choices are there? One, two, three, four, five, six. Total six choices are there. Are there any choices apart from these six choices, guys? In the problem table, in the state field, how many choices are there? Only six choices are there. Is there any more than six choices, guys? Answer me. Hmm? So only six choices are there. But so in the state field, we have only six choices. But in service now, in the Excel sheet, I'm state value passing as open. So there is no open state in ServiceNow, right? Is there any open state in ServiceNow? Is there any open state in ServiceNow, guys? There is no open state in ServiceNow, but in the Excel sheet you are passing it as open. Okay, you are passing it as open. Okay, let me just save this one. So go to the transform map, go to the state field map. In the state field, in the state field, you can see choice action. You have three options here, guys. Create, ignore, reject. These three are very important. So here we are passing here as open. This particular open state is not there in ServiceNow. This particular open state is not there in ServiceNow. As this open state is not there in ServiceNow, so do we have to create a open choice? So if you select choice action, create means it will create a open choice in ServiceNow. It will create a open choice in ServiceNow if you select choice action as create. So I'm just selecting choice action as open, guys. I'm selecting choice action as create. If you select choice action as create, whatever the choice that is coming from source, if the choice is not there in service now, because of this choice action create, it will create a new choice action, new choice in service now. You understand my point? You understand my point, guys? So it will create a new choice in service now. I'm going to load the data now. Okay, run transform. Okay, go to the transform history. It said completed with three errors. So invalid state transaction cannot update from fixing progress to state open given values. Okay. So three records inserted. Okay. So we'll go to the problem record. We'll go to the state field. Go to the show choice list here. What is the table name? Problem table name. Okay. Do we have any choice as such as open? We will see. Open choice. You can see here a new choice is created called open. 2 minutes ago. You can see a new choice is created. That is because we have selected choice action as true. That is because we have selected choice action as true. So here, guys, whatever the choice that is coming, if that choice is not there in service now, if the new choice has to be created means you have to select a choice action as create in the field map. Okay. So I'm going to delete this choice. So I've deleted that choice, guys. So what happens when we select a choice action as create? So when we select a choice action as create, okay, when we select a choice action as create, okay, it will create a new choice in the problem table choices. Fine. So what happens if you select here as ignore? If you select here as ignore, only the state field mapping will be ignored. Only the state field mapping will be ignored. So remaining fields are mapped. Number will be mapped. Problem statement will be mapped. Category will be mapped. Resolution code, except the state field. The state field transaction will be ignored. Only the state field transaction will be ignored, guys. Okay. If you select choice action as okay, if you select choice action as ignore, if this choice is not there in service now problem choices, okay, this choice is not there in service now. Okay, the field mapping should be ignored. So I am selecting choice action as ignore here. Only the field mapping will be ignored, guys. Remember this point. I am going to load the data now. So if you see here, if you see total 36 records are updated, 3 records are created. Okay. No new choice is created. You just go to the problem table. You go to the problem table. Is there any open choice that is created here? So earlier there was 109. So 109 means open. We have to remove this one. Okay. So it has ignored the field mapping, guys. Remember this point. It has ignored the field mapping. Okay. So here that is because we have selected choice action as ignore. So if you select choice action as ignore, whatever the choices that are coming from source, let us say open choice is actually coming from Excel sheet. If this open choice is not there in service now, only this field mapping will be ignored. These records, state field mapping will be ignored. Remember this point, guys. Only field mapping is ignored. So here you can see all the short descriptions are updated here. All the short descriptions are actually test 45, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So here only field mapping is ignored. Okay, only field mapping is ignored. Only state field mapping is ignored, guys. Remember this point. Okay, you understand, guys? Choice action ignore means everyone. Hmm? Okay. Now what I am doing is I am selecting choice action as reject here. Okay. So what reject does is that okay, what reject does is that it will actually reject the total row transformation. So let us say here in the Excel sheet, I am actually passing open state value for I am passing open choice for every record. Okay. This open choice is not there in service now. This open choice is not there in service now. Because this choice is not there in service now, it will reject a total row transformation. Even short descriptions won't be updated. Okay, short descriptions won't be updated. Let me do one thing. Okay. Now I am going to load this data into service now. Guys, remember this point. Remember this point. Okay. So this choice is not there in service now. This open choice is not there in service now. Because this choice is not there in service now, because you have selected choice action as reject, total row transformation will be rejected. Total row transformation will be rejected. I am going to load the data. So guys, if you select a choice action as create, it will create a new choice. If the choice is not there in service now, it will create a new choice. If you select ignore field mapping, only state field mapping will be ignored. For rest of the fields, it will actually update or it will create. If you select a choice action as reject, if the choice is not there in ServiceNow target table, it will actually reject the total row transformation. It will reject the total row transformation. You can see here, you can see choice field value for task state rejected open. So what is it telling? Choice field value for task state dot rejected open. So here all the all the records are rejected. All the records are rejected because in every record we are actually passing the state as open. Because of this state is not there in service now. This open state is not there in service now. Then it is actually rejecting the total row transformation. So total row itself is not transformed, guys. If you see here, no short description updated here. No short description updated here. If you see, no short description updated here. That is because we have selected choice action as rejected. Do you understand the difference between choice action as create, choice action as ignore, choice action as reject? Hmm? Okay. So similarly, guys, so similarly in the Excel sheet, so let me just change it to new here. Okay. Yes, here assigned to is a reference field. Is assigned to a reference field in the problem table. In the problem table, assigned to is a reference field, which is referencing users. Okay, which is referencing users. So in the Excel sheet, I am passing in the Excel sheet, I am passing here Prithviraj name. Prithviraj. Prithviraj is there in the user list. Okay. So Prithviraj is there in the user list. Uh, I am just passing. I am just passing some hero name. Okay. I am just passing Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh. So Ranveer Singh is not there in the ServiceNow users list, guys. Did I create any Ranveer Singh user account? Did I create any Ranveer Singh user account, guys? Hmm? So I did not create any Ranveer Singh user account, guys. Okay. I did not create any Ranveer user account here. But in the Excel sheet, Ranveer Singh name is coming here. In the Excel sheet, Ranveer Singh name is coming here. So let me just go to users and see. Okay. So Ranveer Singh user account is not there in ServiceNow. But in the Excel sheet, it is actually we are passing here as a Ranveer Singh. Okay. Then what should we do? What should we do? So now what I am going to do is I am going to the transform map. I am going to the transform map. So in the transform map, I am opening the assign to field map. So here, if you select choice action as create, will create a new Ranveer Singh user account. If you select choice action as create here, it will create a new Ranveer Singh user account. Okay. So I'm selecting here as create here, guys. We will see if a new Ranveer Singh account is created or not. We will see here. Go to load data. You can see two updates, remaining three. What happened to each record? We will see. Go to the import set here. Okay. Invalid state transaction. Invalid state transaction. Cannot update new. Okay. Two records updated, right? Two records are updated here. Remaining errors. Okay, they agree with that. Remaining two records are updated here. 40060. 40060. You can see it has created a new Ranveer Singh user account. You can see it has created a new Ranveer Singh user account. If you go to the user administration, okay, you can see here in the user account, new Ranveer Singh user account is created. Did it create a Ranveer Singh user account? So did it create a Ranveer Singh user account, guys? So it has created a Ranveer user account because here in the assign to field map, we have selected choice action as create. As we have selected choice action as create, it has created a new user account. So in the state field, as state is a choice field, as you have selected choice action as create, it has created a new choice in ServiceNow. Here it has created a new user account in ServiceNow. You understand, right? So as it is a choice field, it has created a new choice. As it is a reference field, it has created a new record in the user table. So why it has created a record in the user table? Because assign to field is referencing user table. Assign to field is referencing user table. That is why it has created a Ranbir Singh user account. So if you select a choice action as ignore, if you select a choice action as ignore, okay, okay. So here this time I am selecting choice action as ignore, guys. Let me delete Ranbir user account here. Here I have selected choice action as ignore, guys. Remember this point. I have selected choice action as ignore. So whatever the value that is coming from the assign to, if this value is not there in ServiceNow user table, whatever the value that is actually coming here, if this value is not there in the ServiceNow user table, the field mapping will be ignored. Only the assign to field mapping will be ignored. So Ranveer Singh is not there in ServiceNow user table. Then field mapping, only this field mapping will be ignored. Short description will be updated again. Okay, short description will be updated again. I'm going to load data again. Okay. So now you see here, is there any Ranveer user account created or not? You can see Ranveer user account is not actually created. It has ignored the field mapping. You can see short description updated again. 487 487 880 487 880. Short description updated, but field mapping got ignored. Assigned to field mapping got ignored. So as we have selected choice action here as ignore, total only field mapping got ignored. What if I select choice action as reject? Now you tell me guys, what if I select choice action as reject? So remember this point, whatever the value that is coming from source, if this value is not there in the service now user table, because of choice action reject, total row transformation will be rejected. Total row transformation will be rejected. Even short description also won't be updated. Short description also won't be updated. You can see here rejected reference field value for task that assigned to rejected Ranbir Singh. As Ranbir Singh value is not there in service now, it has rejected the total row transformation. Guys, earlier it is ignoring the field mapping. Here it is rejecting the total row transformation. It is rejecting the total row transformation, guys. Remember this point. Yeah. So hope you guys are clear. Okay. So just a moment, guys. So suppose client will tell you, Uday, in state field, in the state field, I'm passing it as open. State open means in my case, open means update new in service now. So client will tell you, he will give you Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, in the state field, I have kept it as open. Open means in service now you have to update it as new. Okay. And here client will tell you. So wherever you see open in service now, that particular record state value should be updated as new. Okay. Uh, okay. Let me do one thing. Oh, I'm keeping work in progress here. Okay. I'm selecting the state here as work in progress. Okay. Client will tell you work in progress means in my case, in the Excel sheet it is work in progress, but in service now it should be updated as root cause analysis. In service now it should be updated as root cause analysis. Client will tell you this choice is not there in service now, but work in progress means root cause analysis. Something like that he will inform you. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to go to state field. In the state field, there is a checkbox called source script checkbox. Okay. So source object. Source means temporary table field values. Okay. Source means temporary table field values. Okay. Where it is equal to source dot u underscore state. Source dot u underscore state. If it equal to work in progress, the state is coming as work in progress. Okay. Return it as root cause analysis. Okay. Pass it as root cause analysis. Okay. So if in the source, if it is coming as work in progress, pass it as root cause analysis. So remember this point, guys. Okay. Let me just save this one. So client is upfront telling you. So if in the Excel sheet, if it is work in progress, in ServiceNow update it as root cause analysis. So this is not an unknown choice. Remember, this is a known choice with a different name. Is it, guys? Work in progress means root cause analysis. That is what client is actually informing you upfront. So then you have to whenever you are actually getting here as work in progress, I am just changing it as root cause analysis using source script. Isn't it? Got my point? So I am loading the data again. Hmm. So we have actually marked this one as this one, right? I am going to load the data again. Okay, you go to the problem table here. You can see it has updated it as root cause analysis. So PRB, this particular record, we have passed it as work in progress or not. We'll check here. You can see here for this particular record, we have passed work in progress, but it is updated as root cause analysis. Is it updated as root cause analysis or not? Hmm? So what I mean to say here is we can use source script, guys, here. In the source script, you have source object. So in the source script, you have source object. Source object refers to Source object refers to the temporary table. Source object refers to the temporary table, guys. Okay, you understand, right? Source object refers to temporary table. You can access any temporary table field value. So what is temporary table? So you can say this is actually a temporary table. This is not a temporary table. U underscore temporary underscore problem dot list. This is the temporary table name. In this temporary table, you can get any field value. So source dot row, source dot set, source dot state, source dot target table, source dot target record, source dot error, source dot assign to, source dot assignment group, source dot category, source dot cause node, source dot comment, source dot configuration item, source dot fix nodes, source dot state, source dot resolution code, source dot related incident, source dot problem statement. You can get any source table field value using source object. Using this source object, okay, using this source object, you can get any source table field value. So source dot row means, so what row it is, which row it is. So if you just open this one here, row, just use show XML here. You can see here import row. So row table name is sys underscore import row. Row field name is sys underscore import row. So you can get any field value using source object, guys, here. You can get any source table field value. Okay. Using source object, you can source table means temporary table, guys. Source table means temporary table here. Okay. Source table means temporary table. Okay. So you can get the source field values using source object. If the state is coming here as, if the source state, that means Excel sheet state is coming as work in progress, then update it as root cause analysis. In the return, I'm actually passing here as root cause analysis. Likewise, you can alter the values using source script, guys. So some people usually they pass here as emails. So in place of names, right? Some people pass here as email. Okay. So some people here pass as emails. So what you will do? So when they pass emails, what we will do is we will write a glide record on the user table here. We will write a glide record on the user table here. We will query with the email field. If that email is there in ServiceNow user table, okay. So using source dot, if the assigned to is there in the user table, if the email is there in the user table, so what we will do is we will pass it as return return gr dot name. Okay. Else we'll pass it return your source dot u underscore assign to. So the email address is there in the ServiceNow user table. Okay, if the email address is there in the ServiceNow user table, you are converting email into name. So if the email address is not there, if the email address is not there, you are directly passing the email. Okay. So here what you can do is you can map the name. So name field in the user table, you are actually mapping the reference field name here as in the user table, you are mapping with the name field. Okay. Suppose if you are converting email into system ID, if you are converting email into system ID, you can change it to system ID here. If you are converting into login name, okay, you can just convert into username here. You can just map it to username here. So likewise, you can convert the source table field values using source script, guys. You can convert the source table field values using source script. Okay. Is that is that clear, guys, still here? Everyone. Just a moment, guys. So you guys are clear, right? Um so tomorrow we'll be discussing transform scripts, guys. Okay. So what did we discuss so far here is that we have discussed about when we load the data, it will be first imported into the temporary table. From the temporary table, we'll run the transform map. So in the transform map, we have discussed about field mapping. Field mapping. So in the field mapping, we have discussed about coalesce. We have discussed about choice action as create, choice action as ignore, choice action as reject. And also we did discuss about source script as well. In the source script, we have source object, source table fields. Fields means temporary table field values you can access using source object. And you can also in the transform map you have mm, so by default empty field values are not copied in the transform map. So if you want to copy empty field values, you have to check this checkbox. Create new record on empty coalesce fields means if the coalesce field number field is actually coming as empty, it will create a new record. If you want to stop the business rules running on the if you want to stop the business rules running on the ServiceNow table, ServiceNow target table, you will check this checkbox so that business rules run on that problem table. So here you have mandatory fields. In the problem table, there are mandatory fields, right? Those mandatory fields should come means you will select all fields. All the mandatory fields should come. Only mapping fields means in the mapping fields there are some mandatory fields, right? Those mandatory fields should come means you will check this checkbox. So run script. So if you have to, if in the source three values are coming, but you have to map it to one field. So in the source you have actually three columns, but in ServiceNow you have only one column to map. So what you will do? So you have target object. Target refers to uh, uh, target object refers to this problem table. Source refers to this temporary table. Target refers to this particular problem table. Source refers to this particular temporary table. So I told you. So in the Excel sheet, in the temporary table, you have three fields, but in ServiceNow problem table, you have only one field. So in that case, what we will do, you will combine all these three fields as one field, one value, you will map it to one field. That field mapping, you will do it using scripting. So you can do the field map using scripting using run script. Okay, you can do the field mapping using this run script, guys. Here you are actually mapping cause nodes field to cause nodes field. But here using run script, you can map three source field into one target field. You can map three source fields into one target field. So likewise, you can write the scripting in the run script in the run script checkbox. And tomorrow we'll be discussing transform scripts, guys. Okay, tomorrow we'll be discussing transform scripts. So which is actually an important one, guys. Which is actually an important one. So so once you run the transform map, Queries will check if the how many number of records are matching, how many number of records are not matching. If the number is not matching, it will create the record. The number is matching, it will actually update the record. So if there are multiple queries, all the queries fields should match to update the record. If any one field is not matching, it will create the record. So and then after that choice action, if you have selected choice action as create, it will create a new choice in the ServiceNow target table. If you select choice action as ignore, field mapping will be ignored. If you have selected choice action as reject, total row transformation will be rejected. Okay. In that case, okay, we have discussed about choice actions as well. So then finally you will actually transform the data into ServiceNow target table. So tomorrow we will be discussing transform scripts, guys. Okay. Any questions from anyone? I am unmuting everyone. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah, hello there.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, good evening. Actually, for the choice action, ignore. If the record have any option which is not there in the system, it will ignore.
Yes.
What if the few records have the correct name and few records don't have the correct choice value? Then how it will work?
Yes. Only the records which doesn't have
That correct, incorrect one,
incorrect, those field mapping will be those
ignore.
for those records only field mapping will be ignored.
Others
Rest of them
will go
transformed.
as
Yes.
okay. Yes. Yeah, understood. And one more thing, Uday.
Mm.
For the choice prop, it will create the choice, right?
Mm.
If it is not there,
Mm.
but how it will take the choice property, like it is string or it is just based on the state already have the different choices, right?
So it is a choice. A choice doesn't have any data type. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. And
Choice doesn't have any data type. So what it
yeah,
does,
yeah,
there is a table called choice table, sys underscore choice. So all the choices are stored in this particular sys choice table. So it will create a record in the sys choice table. Okay.
which don't have any.
Okay, there is a table called choices table in ServiceNow. The
Yeah,
choice table name is sys underscore choice. So a record will be created in this choice table with that particular table name and choice label we are providing in the Excel sheet, right? With that
yeah.
Excel sheet label, it will actually create a new choice.
Okay, okay. I thought it is just based on the state other choices values. User it will create it because we have assigned to is I mean it is referring for the user, so
Mm.
it will create the user according to that one.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, thanks.
I hope this session, this import sets is interesting. Is
Yes,
it
sir.
interesting?
Yes.
Yeah, until unless we don't get any errors while transforming.
You have to do it. You have to practice thoroughly.
Yes, yes, yeah, thanks.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll be discussing transform scripts, guys. So remember,